everybody, Elisa here from Llama Unravel Crochet. Today I'm here because I have a few more WIPS, and so these are my downstairs WIPS. They're bigger blanket WIPS that I work on at the end of the night. And I know I said that I was going to do some tips on how to do color work and some different things like that. So I'll record that either this weekend or the following weekend. I'm trying to find some time to do it quietly because I tried to film it last weekend and my kids were really noisy. But so that is coming if you have questions. And I know I said before I got 2 questions, so I have them written down. So if you have any other questions about color work or graph gans or whatever, put them down below. I've done a lot of graph gans, not both C to C and regular single crochet or half double crochet. So check that out down below. And then let's get to what I'm making. So this is what I'm making now. So this is a gift for my son. He's going to be really excited for this. So he was kind of kidding with me, but he asked me, but I think also not, but he likes to pretend to play football and tries to play football in my house with the ball, and he hits things and he always gets in trouble. So he told me one time when he got in trouble for playing football in the house, after he proceeded to say, well, I'm using a little stuffed animal, so I can't break anything. After that, he said, well, you know, Mom, I wouldn't get in trouble for playing football if I had a football field blanket that I could pretend to play on with my figurines. So I'm making a football field blanket. So I designed a pattern, and that is what I'm making here. I can't wait for that to be finished. He's gonna love that so much. So this is just basic color work. And so what I did, I went back and forth, and when I was designing it, I was calculating my stitches to see what would be the best for this, whether I should do it from end zone to end zone or the sideline to sideline, which would work out better for stitches, because I had to make sure I had the right numbers and my right number of stitches so my numbers would look okay. So I ended up doing it this way, and it is kind of convenient. Well, not exactly because I'm running this through, but I'm just going right across with the green. All the green's one skein, and then each yard line is its own skein. And then I use the different, not skein, bobbin. I used a different bobbin for each one, and then each set of numbers is one bobbin. So this is very easy to do. The only difficult part is the numbers, and it's not difficult, you just really have to pay attention. And this is usually my downstairs projects are a little bit more mindless. So that's that. And then the cool part for him, which I don't think he realized it was a pattern, but I did make half the end zone. I had made the other half. I was going to do a full graph paper end zone, but one of my animals took a bite out of the other end and started eating the paper because, well, I guess why not? But anyway, so I guess if he couldn't eat my string, he went after my pattern. But anyway, so I put it on graph paper, and so I did fiddle with it. I was really trying to get the numbers so that they're on either side of the white line, but I didn't want to make the blanket too big. If I added too many more rows, it would be really big. Because as you can see, putting my arms across like this, it's still, I can't hold it without slack. So it's gonna be, might be like 68 inches, I think I calculated, something like that. It's not too much longer than my arm span, but it's definitely longer than my arm span, longer than I can hold it wide. So that's what I'm doing with that. And I haven't published the pattern for this yet, but let me know also if you're interested down below. Maybe I'll put this pattern out there too. So I just thought it'd be fun to make a football field for my son, since he was kind of kidding, kind of not. And I was like, I'll make it for him. I like doing Afghans, and I like making blankets where they can play on them too. So that's that one. And I don't know if you can tell. So these lines I'm not marking, because after I finish the numbers, I'm just going back and forth with the green and the white, just back and forth all the way across the field. And I know how many I need, but I mean, it's not going to hurt it if I have a couple more or a couple less. I'm just going to count it after I feel like I've gotten tall enough. And if it looks good enough, then I'll start on the other side with the numbers upside down. So, but with the numbers, every time I finished a number, I crossed it out. So I did go row by row, but once I finished the 1 and 0 for the 10, I put a line through that section of the 10 I did. And then when I did that first row of the 20, I put a line through the bottom of the 20, and I went like that all the way across to mark where I am. I've seen people use a ruler too to identify where they are, or depending on how big your graph is, you could also put your graph in, blanking on the name of it, been a while since I worked in a classroom, but the 3-hole punch sheet protectors. You could put it in there and use like a expo marker to put a line through it. So if it's a simple pattern, something like the Christmas tree, if you just wanted to follow the graph, you could put it in there and use the expo marker to cross out the line as you go, and then you can also see where you are. So that's that blanket. The other one I'm making is this one. Oh, it's backwards. I'm really excited for this one. So this one is Pound of Love. So I'm just using pastel pink, black, and then I have to figure out what red I'm using, because the red I have for the for this, I'm not sure. I think it'll be okay. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll have to maybe start a little bit of it and put it in and see how it looks. But this one is going to be a mouse blanket, and there's that pattern. And I'm doing the same thing, but this one is C to C, and it's coming out really nicely. It's working up fairly quickly, a little slower because I'm doing both at the same time, but I've been doing a lot of work with both of them, but sometimes I get one tangled and Mr. Yarn Entangler entangles it for me, so then I have the other one to work on while I'm working on that one. So that's that, and I don't know why I started both of them, but I think I was going to work on this football field upstairs, but my son, he wanted to know what I was making, and if I'm making a bigger project, sometimes it's distracting and he doesn't focus during school. So I think that was why I moved it to a downstairs project. And you know, it's a big blanket, so I have to work on it down here where I can you know, watch TV, lay my blanket out and work on it. But this is the mouse one. I can't wait to see how this one comes out. I'll show you this one when it's done. I don't know why I said mouse, it's Minnie Mouse. My Minnie Mouse blanket I made. It's just something, I'm going to make 2 of these ones. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a second pattern and kind of tweak it. I'll make 2 of these, but one of them is going to be a gift, and then I have to make one for my daughter because she's going to get upset. Although she thinks everything's hers, so I don't know. We'll see. She might try to think the football field is hers when it's not. It's her brother's, but that's okay. So with the C to C one, I kind of do the same thing, but let's see, I'm trying to find a way to really get it in the screen. But so as you see the marks down below, or the diagonal marks, what I do is I calculate how many blocks are in the row, my very last row of just the plain color, the this solid color. And you know, if you buy a pattern, it'll all be written out. But so this there'd be one final row where it's all pink before you add on the black. So I count how many blocks are there, and I just go along, work along, not paying attention until I count that I have that many blocks in my row. And then once I get to that point, that's when I start marking my rows. So, because I don't go by counting, I like to go by visually looking at it. And every once in a while I count, but I do these so often that I'm pretty good. If it's more open space like this, about visually looking at it, seeing where I need to put the stitches, and then just counting every few rows to double check. But I would go ahead and I would go and work that many blocks of the pink, and then the black, and then finish the whole row, and then I mark down the row. And then I use graph paper, so you can easily print out your graph. A lot of people, you can pretty much, when you buy graphs all the time, you can go ahead and print that out and just mark down the row, and that works great. And I've seen, actually, some of the ones that even have black in it, the way it prints, there's that white outline, so you can still kind of mark it, so you know you've done that row. But I put a dot in every row, whether I'm doing side to side for the color work or doing like graph gamma C to C. I mark off every block in that row, and that line going down shows me where I'm at. So that's what I do. That's how I kind of mark where I am. But as I was saying, I really like hand drawing them, and I'm not sure why. I think because I was trying to print this one. I have this one on my computer, and I was trying to print it out, but my printer was giving me a hard time. So I think I said forget it, and I'm going to just draw it out. So that's what I did with that. And I always like to have tiny graph paper, because sometimes if it's a pattern I designed, I do like to draw it out. Also, because sometimes I feel like I can tweak it, and I probably get too not a perfectionist, but like I try to tweak it to the not tweak it, but like as I'm drawing, I'm like, oh, just that one block needs to be off. But then when you look at it, it's not really a big deal, but in my head I see it, I'm like, yeah, I need to fix that. So as I'm drawing it out, sometimes I kind of see those things, and I'm able to go in the computer and fix that, and that's great. Which is very exciting, because I used to use another program that didn't write out the numbers, and I used to have to, when I would share my patterns, I used to have to count all the colors in the row by hand. But now I've found a program. Well, I knew about the program, but I don't know why I knew about the program. I probably knew in the back of my head that it counted, but I just always counted it by hand. But now I can count them by hand, except for the shape blankets. Those I have to actually count by hand, because that's just not the way the program works. It doesn't work like that to do shapes. It only does like squares and rectangles. And I do have a shape blanket coming out for you too, another shape C to C that's winter themed. So I'm excited to share that. I'm working on typing up that pattern, and Mr. Yarn Entangler is going to double check that for me, because he's awesome. And I can't wait to show you that. So that's all I have for you today. And I'll keep you updated how this is going, because this is going to take a while. Especially because I'm doing two at the same time. It'll take me a while to complete this one and then my football field. But let me know what you think down below. Do you want to see the football field pattern, or what do you think? Or please let me know if you have any questions about graph GANs or color work. I have 2 so far that I'm going to answer when I do my color work graph GAN videos. And if you're a beginner, that's completely fine. I know one of the questions was a beginner question, so I think I'm going to do a more beginner one, and probably an advanced video just for anyone that's interested, basics on how to start a graph GAN, and then another one with some tips as you go. But that's all I have for that, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.